Hey guys, can you hear me? All right, there we go. Awesome. Can we get Robbie on stage and Crypto Mom?
Yeah, I think. Can you hear me? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've sent them the request, so.
All right. Well, good morning, everybody. Well, morning where I'm at. Hey, Keith.
Hey, I got you. I could hear you. I'm sorry. I could hear you the whole time.
Awesome, awesome. Good morning, Robbie.
Hey, what's up? How you doing?
Is it morning for you?
It is afternoon, but close. Not too late in the afternoon, so we can call it
Nice,
morning.
nice, nice. Well, we have a hard stop in 30 minutes, but I wanted to get some traders in to give us a market overview, and we're gonna have Adrian join us in a little bit to give us some trading tips. So if you're a trader, this is a space for you. Keith, can you get us started with the market overview? Like what's going on right now with the charts?
Well, hello, everybody. I'm Keith. Do this for a living. Full TA, full crypto. I would say full crypto, 99% crypto. Do a little forex trading. Do some stocks and bonds, but mostly crypto. And it's all based on the chart. I don't base my opinion on anything else. It's all based on the data that I can see and measure. That I cannot see and measure, I do not trouble myself with because there's nothing I can do about it. One of the last times I was on here, we were kind of flirting around with 65 to 68. We could kind of see that we're making a lower high. Everything was kind of struggling to get going. Good news and bad news is I think most of the worst is done. Um, we went down to 60,000 and actually a little lower than that. But for a wick, we didn't really close lower than that. We closed at about 58 and a half, 59, but it immediately went right back to 60 and was very unhappy with going under that level. 60,000 is psychological. It's a big, nice, round number. Um, multiples of uh, multiples of basic numbers like 2, 3 times 2 is 6, 6 times 10 is 60,000. It's a nice big round number. Those numbers tend to matter a little more than 61,325, for example. So right now we're kind of fighting the moving averages on the daily. It's in a little bit of a downtrend, short term. Now, high time frame, things look pretty darn good. Nice big weekly candle just formed. A nice big hammer candle just formed, which is a bullish candle. For what it's worth, typically post halving, we don't have a whole bunch of down after that. I think we've already had one big liquidation event that took about 1.2 billion out of the market via liquidations. You usually only have one of those events before you start going in the other direction. A big event like that, where it's that much money gets nuked out of the market. That's people who are betting on up, chart goes down, nukes people, and then typically the market goes back the way it was going to go before, which is right back up. But you got to get the dumb money out first. Once the dumb money goes away, then you start to see things come back up. I think we're right around the corner from that. I don't think we're going to get much in that action department in May. Looks more like June, July, August to me. I expect September and October to be a little slower. Election is in November and December. Pick who you want. I don't really care. I don't do politics, but I can bet you that we don't just massively hit the brakes on our bull run. I bet you November and December starts us off and an even more exponential rise.
Nice, nice, nice. Wow. That was an overview of the market from the one and only Keith. If you're just tuning in, we are having a trading space. And by the way, guys, we also have some huge news. I've just pinned it on the tweet. I've pinned the tweet on top, so you can take a look at that. But Keith, can I ask you, what are your because I know we always talk about like what the chart's doing and like what we
Mhm.
anticipate the chart to do. But I think for me as as like a semi trader,
Mhm.
I'm in your school. I feel really hesitant right now. Is that like to trade anything? What can you speak to any on that feeling?
Yep, that's perfect. What you just described is so there's a psychological component that comes with investing, not just trading. And for the record, when someone says you're a trader, what does that mean? So look, I do this for a living, but I might not make a trade for 3 weeks. I might make 7 trades in an hour. I might make 1 trade a month. For the people who are there and seeing me doing it in the Discord, I post everything and tell you what I'm doing, but that's just to be open and tell everyone. I would agree with you. The hesitation is probably a good thing. You just had halving. We all know what happens post halving. Is there a reason to get cute with everything and try to be super, super hyper perfect? I don't really think there is. And since you have a hesitation to do it, that typically means do nothing. I tell people that all the time. When you don't know what to do and you're unsure, stop and don't do anything because you're about to make an emotional decision. Emotional decisions, go back in history and look at all the amazing emotional decisions we made through history and see were they the right ones. Typically, they're the wrong ones, or not necessarily wrong, but you could have thought about it a little bit more and had a much better plan. All right. I don't really care what the event was, doesn't matter. A lot of emotional decisions turn out to be wrong. So, in times of unsure, don't do much. Just sit back and watch. I think this is the perfect time to do that. I've expressed this multiple times, but when you get downs or oversold conditions in a bull market, you buy those. You don't run from those. We're flirting with neither. We're flirting right in the middle of range. And when we're stuck in range, there's nothing to do but relax. You're in the middle of the lane in the highway. 3-lane highway, you're just in the middle, riding down the road. There's no reason to turn off and get off on the exit. Nothing looks horrible. There's no reason to get in the fast lane and try to go faster than everyone else because, well, there's really no need to. There's no one in the fast lane right now. We just sit back and relax. I would totally agree with you. No reason to do anything right now. In 3 months, you'll see that your intuitions were probably correct. I think by the summer, we're up near 6 digits. I would hope by the end of the summer we're up near 6 digits. I think for sure we're going to get back to all-time high for sure. And then it's only a matter of time. By the end of the year, I'm looking for at least 6 digits, and I think 115 to 130 by the end of the year. And once that happens, that sets the hook for next year, which is the big run. People think this year is going to be the run. And it's not. This is just the precursor. We just have halving after halving. We tend to have Bitcoin dominance, which kind of pushes down on everything else and takes the shine away from the rest of the market. Once Bitcoin dominance starts to turn the corner down, that's when we have our big bull run. When money comes into altcoins, we start to see exponential gains. That hasn't happened yet. We're still months away from that. We just had halving. This is the time, if you've got extra cash, to find what you want to buy and lock it in because it's the wrong time to be scared and run away. In the words of the infamous Ice Cube, if you're scared, go to church.
That was a good answer, Cynthia. Good question. I love that. Love that take. Because I mean, I was just in a meeting and I'm looking at the market, like Bitcoin dropped to 60K. And I'm thinking, this would be a good time for that Umoja shield, protect your assets. Don't get liquidated and stuff. That was
Don't
a
get
good take.
wrecked, for real.
I know, like, don't get wrecked, especially when you're in a meeting and not expecting it to go down. And I'm like, okay.
You know it's going to be hard, and I know this is tough for everybody, and it's not easy to break psychological barriers, which is the biggest problem with anyone who invests is their self. It's hard to get out of your own head. I like how Emoja has a system where it kind of takes that away from you, which is exactly what most people need. Because one of the tendencies you're going to have moving forward here, you're going to see big green candles. You're going to see a lot of up, and your tendency will be running by. When in actuality, your tendency should be, hey, here's a chance for me to take some profits. We want to sell green. We want to buy red, especially in a bull market. In a bear market, we can change that, but we just had halving, everyone. We're starting a bull run. So we want to buy when we get red and sell when we get green, especially exponential red and exponential green. When you see things just absolutely bury themselves down on indicators and show that they're oversold, especially in a bull run, hey, man, that's your opportunity. Go after it. And then when something goes exponentially high, 200, 300%, that's not the time when we throw our money in. That's the time when we go, hey, I think I'll have a little profits here. I've already bought. I'll have a little bit off the table. I've not done this before. This is nice. Making money feels nice. Hard barrier to break, but super crucial for everyone.
Awesome. Awesome. Hey, Nick, welcome. How are you? Yeah, Nick Hellman up here. Robbie. I don't know, maybe he's on me. He's not, he's probably isn't by his phone. So anyways,
Hey
uh
Cynthia, I just got a message that crypto burbs running late, so not sure if we can extend the talks. I just got the message. It's coming in literally at 12:30. So I don't know.
yeah, I know Keith has a hard stop in 15, but Keith, if you're free to keep talking about the charts,
Okay,
I
well, sweet. Yeah, like I said, I missed her mom today, so I got to get out of here at like 1:30 for East Coast time. I've got like a 2-hour drive, go get some of the kids, and I cannot miss it. I missed your mom today, so a lot of I'll kind of explain Bitcoin dominance a little bit because not many people understand what that means. I can't share a chart right now; it's not important. Uh, let's just start off by saying back in the day, Bitcoin was 96% dominance, meaning 96% of all the money in crypto was in Bitcoin. All right, so since that was literally the top and you almost couldn't be more dominant than that, we've only ever lost dominance on Bitcoin as more coins are created and more money comes in. People aren't just buying Bitcoin anymore, they're buying the other stuff too, which is Ethereum and literally every other crypto you can name. All right, those are all altcoins. We can say that or not. We can call them blue chips. I don't really want to have that argument. It's not a point. The point is dominance has slowly fallen off year after year after year. There are moments when it's up, like now, but that's only temporary. That's only temporary. When we come around to the corner, we have halving. Usually that supply and demand event creates a situation where we see dominance start to reverse back down. We just had halving. We have a lull period here before then, and that's the lull period we're in right now, around 53 or 54% dominance. Let me pull that up and make sure real fast, but I'm pretty close on that one. 54.5 right now, 54.6% of the market is strictly in Bitcoin. You can do the math real quick. Total market cap is right at 1 trillion, flirting around with 1 trillion. Oh, that's total 2.1 trillion. So over $1 trillion strictly just in Bitcoin. I can pull that number up exactly. I don't know why I didn't have that ahead of time. So right here we go. 1.19 trillion just in Bitcoin alone. Once we get up here to the upper levels in the summer, I think that's the peak for Bitcoin dominance. That'll probably put us, I'm going to say at a max of 57%. 57% of the entire market will be just Bitcoin. The thing is, that's kind of near the top. Once that happens and we break, I do expect by the end of the bull run for us to be more down around 40 to 45% dominance. That's a ton of money. That does not mean that money is going away from Bitcoin. That means money is going into other things besides Bitcoin. There's a difference in money coming out of Bitcoin and going into altcoins and just new money coming in. All right, we're going to see a ton of new money come in way later. Right now, you're going to see smart money start to creep in. You're going to see more investment people buy, more companies buy. You're starting to see little trickles now of reports come in and, oh, this bank has some ETF money and this bank. Oh, you thought they were just going to sit behind and not be a part of it? Of course they weren't. They're going to go in and get a piece of the action. They just prefer to do it in the background. And then have their earnings reports at the end of the quarter, which is another whole thing we've started here by letting the big dogs in the door. They're going to hide reports, hide earnings, hide withholdings, or try to. And ETFs help create that hiding, which is something I was unhappy about. I didn't want that to happen. The beauty of blockchain is we see every transaction. Why do we need to create something that hides the transactions? I don't like that. Just because they submit to buy some Bitcoin with Bitcoin ETF money doesn't mean they actually bought it. It means they're just going to, or they promise to. When? Well, there's a whole nother section of rules about quote unquote when they have to do that. And since we don't have that data, since we can't do anything about it, I don't want to do it. I don't want to use it. It's mixed, unnecessary data. That sucks. And that may change our Bitcoin dominance around a little bit. That's why I'm not perfect on that number. But I think, end of the year, everything's going to be up. We'll see a shift in markets from upper caps, into middle caps, and then middle caps into lower caps. And that doesn't mean every lower cap before someone gets salty about it. If it's your favorite coin and it goes up, I'm happy for you. Okay. Don't get
So
mad.
it's not my favorite meme coin.
Right. You know what I mean? Like if it's your favorite meme coin and it goes up, I'm happy for you. I'm not mad. Right. I'm just telling you the basic of what's going to happen. Of course, there's going to be outliers. Someone made a big mention and trolled me on it about Arc Block, which is up like 70,000%. Okay. I wish I had bought it. I don't know what to tell you, but I didn't. So I'm not going to do the hindsight analysis. What I'm going to tell you is it's 70,000% up. Should I hurry up and go buy that? Probably not. So I don't really want to now. The train already left the station. I don't want everyone to get caught in a situation where you get left behind. It being red right now, man, you're getting opportunities laid in your lap. Don't let opportunities get past you. I have very, very little stable coins. Most everything I have is in the market. And before anyone asks, yes, most everything I have is in altcoins because they move farther than Bitcoin does. Exponential money. That's why. I have some Bitcoin, but only a little. I think, we need to relax a little bit, sit back, try to kind of tune out everything you see on here. Don't let everyone overwhelm you with you must buy this, you must buy that. That's typically incorrect. Use your brain, use your reason, think things through, and you'd be surprised how much farther along you get.
I love that. Robbie, I know you share many of the same sentiments in terms of psychology and trading as Keith. Do you have anything to say to what Keith shared?
I no, I mean, I agree on the sentiment that I am very interested to see how BlackRock and others coordinate mass purchases. Just because, I mean, there's only so much, quote unquote, dumb money that's going to sell Bitcoin at these lows, and I would have to imagine that their collective buy orders are going to be massive, probably so high that they're going to have to pay a premium just to acquire. I don't think that there's any, and I may be wrong about this, and Keith would love to get your thoughts on this. Like, I am not aware of any market maker that has a substantial dominance on BTC order flow to allow the type of purchases on the ETF side that BlackRock would be wanting to or having to make. And so, what interests me, to your point, is that you know what order volume on the ETF side gets us at a critical mass at which there is no way for a market maker to disguise or parse those orders to minimize how it affects the market. Which I guess to your point is happens over a matter of months until a bull run becomes really really clear. And then of course, I mean, one thing that I found, it's interesting, and I would like to get Keith's thoughts on this as well. Like, a lot of us get burdened, especially those who do not have the knowledge that Keith has as a pro trader, just burdened by sentiment or confusing sentiment with what we actually see in the market. And that, so obviously when things go down, when Bitcoin specifically goes down, right, we're feeling a little sad, a little down, a little trepidatious. But of course, when the opposite, happens, it's like we got a shot of steroids or something like we have immediate amnesia, and so I mean obviously in better understanding and timing that order flow from the asset managers into the market, you can also pretty much exactly time when fundraising is going to increase, when the next when is going to be ideal to introduce the next theme, quote unquote, that crypto is obsessing over, if it's not already an extension of this meme coin and AI narrative that we're seeing right now. And so I think, the reason I bring this up is it's just very interesting to see these things happen so quickly, and be able to analyze it. Whereas I think in previous, bull runs, they didn't happen as gradually or as tentatively to start. Um, and of course, obviously, Bitcoin wasn't institutionalized. So, but those are my thoughts. I don't know, Keith, if you have any thoughts on the whole asset manager masking or market maker masking capabilities, or where you think that total order volume is. But yeah.
You brought up an interesting thing, man, and I'm glad you brought it up. We're thinking on the exact same plane. So, for everyone's common knowledge, yeah, Coinbase only keeps so much Bitcoin on hand. The bank only keeps so much cash on hand. All right. They don't just have that money in the back. When you give them money, they invest it. It's gone. They don't just sit back and hold your cash. As a matter of fact, here's a rich people problem that I ran into last time that I'm not able to run into anymore, but it happened like one time, which I'm pretty happy about. I went to the bank and said, I want to withdraw some money. And he says, how much? I said the number, and he goes, we don't have that much. And I went, what are you talking about? You don't have that much. You're the bank. You gave me this bag, a literal money bag, so I could come here and get money out that I can't put money in. He says, well, I can have it tomorrow. Well, I don't want you to tell me you can have it tomorrow. It's my money. Well, guess what? They don't have it. So that's basic supply and demand, folks. I want the money, but he has it. He doesn't have to give it to me. It's worth more to him invested than it is handing it to me. All right. So Coinbase is the same way. They only have so much Bitcoin. If you're BlackRock, Wells Fargo, Chase, and some other ones have come out just in the last couple of days here and started admitting that they have ETF shares. All right. So that money is promised for Bitcoin, and that all has to go through Coinbase by law. All right. That's the rule. All of the Bitcoin has to be custodied over on Coinbase, which means that's where they've got to get it from too. This is why Coinbase stock is something we monitor so closely, because it's actually front running Bitcoin just a little bit. All right. So where do they get that money from? Do they get it from all the retirement accounts and everyone else who wants to buy Bitcoin, but they're buying a promissory note or $1 worth of Bitcoin in their ETF fund that's promised to Bitcoin? Where do they get the Bitcoin from? At Coinbase. Well, they've got to go to the miners and buy it. And the miners don't have enough of it to sell to them. Now we're running into what we call supply and demand crunch. You have a big demand for a product and you don't have much of the product. That means the product just went up in value exponentially. And it will continue to do that until the demand is met. What demand level would that be? Well, if you want to ask me that, I would say 6 figures, 100,000. That's the quote unquote demand level. All right. So when we get to that point, everyone goes, all right, 6 figures, now what? And everybody stops and looks around for a minute. That moment hasn't happened yet. It will happen. That supply and demand crunch is going to force the price up. That's just the basic beauty of the free market. The price is what the market makes it. And if you're going to push this thing real hard and start reporting, I'm buying ETF shares and we bought ETF shares and they bought it. Now you're reporting how much money's going in and everyone sees that and they go, holy crap, there's not that much Bitcoin on Coinbase. Where are they going to buy it from? Well, the miners don't want to sell it. They want the premium. Okay, well, now I got to pay the premium, which is not 68,000, it's 71,000. Hey, I just broke all-time high. All right, then that goes farther and farther and farther. We can see that on the chart. All right, then we get to that psychological level, like I'm telling you, 100,000. Everyone stops and takes a breather and says, do we want to keep buying more? What are we doing, guys? Psychological level met, demand level met, we reset and think about it. I think you're dead on. I'm super curious, not to mention they don't have to report this stuff immediately. They can wait months later and then report it. Oh yeah, by the way, I revised numbers from February or $17 million. And we thought, the hell you mean you just lost $17 million worth of accounting? No, you withheld that information so you could make the books look better so that you could run your stock price to a certain level. That's the stuff that I don't like, but it's going to happen.
Yeah, I agree. It'll be very interesting how it happens, because to your point, and guys, I mean, I'm sure you all know this, but the market follows Bitcoin, and when things go up on Bitcoin and we reach an all-time high, Bitcoin becomes too expensive, particularly for retail investors, particularly if it is ever to reach, that height, right? The demand level that Keith's talking about, 100,000, right? You're talking about like, I mean, effectively, Coinbase would need to change its interface to show the amount of Bitcoin their users have in a different way. When you start to enter six-figure prices, right? Because I mean, that's a very small decimal if you buy $10, or $20 of Bitcoin. And there's been a long time held like this misunderstanding of not being able to buy decimal amounts of Bitcoin rather than full numbers worth. And so what happens is people start investing into Ethereum. It's like, oh, well, Ethereum's second best, right? Psychologically, it's only at 3,000 or whatever the hell it's at that time. And then that obviously starts to go up, and likely, I would imagine. Now, I don't know if they're going to reattempt this now, so this is conjecture at this point. But you know, um, an ETH ETF, if it exists at this point, or if it is going to exist later, since that decision hasn't yet been made, or at least not positively, that could have a similar effect where you have an overlap of institutionalization and inflows of Bitcoin over a 4 to 5 month period. And then at the same time, when that's hitting its all-time high, when that order flow is revealed, reinvestment, especially on the retail side, into ETH, and likely traditional capital if the ETF on that side is approved. And in other countries, it's already been approved. And you see another kind of boost. And then, of course, it follows that, okay, ETH starting to get expensive. Where does vast majority of retail capital go? It goes into altcoins. And so you'll likely see an extended season of fundraising, of token sales, of major listings on tier one exchanges, which obviously they're going to take advantage of. KOLs are going to take advantage of, and a kind of continuation of that. So it'll be, yeah. It's I'm as a founder, very selfishly trying to understand how to trigger community in order to take advantage of those times, given that they're probably a few months away. And then as a an investor, to your point, Keith, I'm trying to remain vigilant. But
I think you're dead on. And as far as founders go, you're doing a great job. And if you just stick with what you're doing now, everything's going to pan out because the market dictates that. You don't really have to do anything but stay in your lane and do your part, and the money will flow. You're dead on about how the money flows happen, in my opinion. Um, there's a reason that for a long time, when you went on Robinhood to buy stock, you couldn't buy anything but an entire share because the accounting is insane to fractionalize a Tesla share or a Facebook share. You got to understand the accounting power that takes and the time spent that it takes. So they've created a system where you have to buy a whole share. Well, it gets too expensive for you to buy that share. So they have stock splits to make that price smaller, and they give you double the shares for it. But this way, it psychologically looks easier for you to buy. This is a common practice. That doesn't happen in crypto. However, last thing I'll say before I get off here, what if it does happen? Bitcoin gets six figures and they start making people say, hey, I'm sorry, but you can only buy 0.1 Bitcoin now because we just can't meet the demand for your 0.000000001. All right. We just can't do that right now. So if you can't handle 0.1 worth of Bitcoin, if you can't rack 10K in the clip, we can't help you. Sorry. So if you don't mind, you can buy Ethereum or Arbitrum or AVAX. We got these over here too. Oh, I can buy these. And then you'd rather put your $20 in those than you would in Bitcoin. Or you enter a quote unquote fund and you buy fund shares. And now you have a promissory note for that Bitcoin that you can't buy. Now we're seeing exponential market growth. That's how it happens. That's how we do parabolas, everybody. It's going to happen. Watch it happen. I got to get off here. Thank y'all. I'm Mr. Mom, so I'm hitting the road. Thank y'all for having me.
appreciate you, brother.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. Thank you, Keith.
Thank you, Keith. If you guys are tuning in just now, let me reset the room real quick. We just had a market overview from Keith, and he told us really what to expect and most importantly, the sort of psychological strategy to employ. Basically, in short, don't freak out. And if you aren't sure, just don't trade. It doesn't hurt to not trade. Yeah, if you're just tuning in again, we mentioned that there's huge news uh, Emoja will be doing a crowd raise, a crowd fund next week. Early poll opens May 15th, and then open poll opens May 16th. So you can literally be a part of history in the making and join in on the revolution. All right. Well, we have a guest scheduled for the last 15 minutes of the call. We'll probably open it for another 2 minutes. And if they don't make it, we can have our guests join next week.
Cool. Yeah. What do y'all? I mean, from those in the audience, how are y'all? How are y'all feeling about everything? Where's your level of market confidence in terms of, or any hypotheses you have about the market? I'm really interested in hearing for anyone who wants to.
Mom, do you feel confident?
Well, I think that's for the audience. I mean, we can bring some people up who want to speak. I'm very. If you ask me, Cynthia, you know I stay bullish. I'm like, when the Titanic was going down, even whenever things look, and that's when there's blood on the streets. Warren Buffett says when there's blood on the streets, that's when you buy, you get greedy. So yeah, I'm bullish. Maybe someone in the audience wants to come up.
Everybody's like, nah, I'm good, which I can also understand. Don't let your social anxiety keep you from sharing alpha. I have that same issue.
Yeah, no, I
Um,
get it. I mean, speaking of sharing alpha, did you want to get into the raise?
Oh yeah, so for those who are interested, next week we have our first community sale for Emoja. For those who don't know what the heck Emoja is, it is a protocol that converts altcoins into smart coins. So basically, AI-based digital assets that prevent you from losing money when the market goes down, and optimize yields when it goes up. So your money literally works for you, and you can minimize your meme coin portfolios at least just a little bit. You don't have to completely diversify out, but smart coins can help make it so that you don't necessarily have to learn how to be a pro trader or a super degen. And so, backed by Coinbase, 500 Global, Orange DAO, Blockchain Founders Fund, and a lot of the tier ones. And I myself and the team are from Goldman Sachs, Google, Coinbase, Harvard Business School, and a few other places as well. So we have our first community sale next week on paid. You can check out us on Twitter if you want to learn more. But more so than just the token sale, really just looking to build a really engaging community. So if any of these things interest you, or you want to help with our vision of democratizing wealth for the first time in human history by giving people access to these tools, please come through, DM me. We can talk about it and find a role for you.
I love that you casually just like mentioned the accolades of the team. Oh, Harvard Business School and and
Hey, it's all relative. The one thing that I will always say is the brand on your shirt doesn't necessarily dictate the contents in your head. So you know.
Okay, my guest is probably I don't know, he always shows up. So I hope it's nothing that urgent that has kept him away. So Cynthia, I don't want you to hold the audience on my behalf, waiting on him.
as long
Yeah,
as
yeah.
we can lock him in next week. I mean, I think the Emoja community is very understanding.
Yeah.
Oh, they're so nice. And Robbie, it's late where you are, right?
No. I'm finally back in the U.S. for a limited
Oh,
time.
okay, okay. Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
for a limited
Welcome back.
I appreciate that. No. Well, one, I appreciate everybody coming through again. You can DM me on Twitter, Telegram. It's RobTG4 on Telegram as well. And really appreciate y'all coming through. And we'll have another space and shoot the shit later.
All right, awesome. Thank you guys.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Hey guys, brief intermission. Still waiting on our speaker, but we probably won't keep you guys waiting too long. All right, guys, thanks for waiting around and tuning in. We're gonna actually close the room now. And like we said, we're gonna continue this conversation next week. We'll have a full lineup of AMAs and Twitter Spaces, and it's gonna be crazy, you guys, for the community. So thank you for showing up, and yeah, we'll have a ton more next week. See you guys. Bye.